Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tardy to the Party, the weekly podcast centered around news and reviews of the holy trinity of pop culture, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. I'm your boy J-Sib, and to my left, as always,
I'm KP.
and to my right, as
bull,
always,
the bull.
How's it going, boys? How's your weeks?
Another week
Very-
living somebody else's dream, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, yep, I know. Not mine.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't live mine. I
Yep.
didn't dream for this,
Yep.
but here I am.
Somebody somewhere.
Oh.
My week was pretty easy. It's simple. I mean, uneventful, but yeah, it wasn't stress or anything, so that's always good.
that's good. Well, we hope you are all living your dreams, unlike
Living it up.
the bull here, apparently.
You're basically looking at it because I work right over there. I work across this room. you're walking into my life here.
You were walking into my life.
So, obviously, this week started up a little DC. I got a few, not too much this week. I think mainly this week's episode is going to be just reviews, I think.
Pretty much.
But start off, Blue Beetle here. Apparently, there's going to be a trailer dropping here soon. A star of the movie, George Lopez. Ever heard of him? Sparked speculation by posting an Instagram post with a photo of him alongside three of the co-stars. Harvey, sorry if I butcher any of these names. Harvey Gillen. Oh man, this is the lead too, who actually plays Blue Beetle. Zolo Maranduena and Angel Manuel Soto, or maybe that's it. But yeah, he just posted the Beetle. So excited for this one. Trailer coming soon, and you're gonna love it. Stay tuned. So apparently, we finally will be getting that Blue Beetle trailer. Excited. I think actually Solo Marantuana also kind of, there's a quote up here that, this is from the direct. The teenage superhero has been described as, quote, fusion of Green Lantern and Iron Man. So
Okay.
with
Yeah,
Reese's
that's-
of
that's-
Marantuana's particular here. Oh, so yeah, it is a lead.
That's about what he is, yeah.
I've been trying to keep my nose out of it as much as I can, like to not find out more about Blue Beetle, just because like I want to watch it and truly like experience it for what it is.
Oh,
Like I've been trying to stay away from it as much as I can because I don't know squat about Blue Beetle.
do you know, like, how he has his powers?
I know nothing.
Okay, so I'm going to be very interested to see your reaction on
Yeah, I'm trying to go into it raw as much as I can.
Well, I am about to say I never deep dived into a lot of Blue Beetle comics, but anytime he ever showed up, always thought he was super cool. So I'm really intrigued to see his character just on the screen and his powers, and the suit looks phenomenal. It looks spot on. So very excited about that. But moving on to just the drama.
Oh man.
New segment this week, Shazam drama.
that.
In lieu of James Gunn tweets.
I guess we got a James Gunn tweet that I kind of forgot to bring up last week. And it kind of involves a story, actually. People were giving him crap about spoilers for Shazam 2 end credit scene. His wife, Jennifer Holland, shows up as Amelia Harcourt, and people were giving him crap, being like, oh, James Gunn cast his wife and everything, blah, blah, blah. And James Gunn kind of pointed out, like, yo, that scene was filmed like a year and a half ago before I actually got the job, so relax.
But wait,
But
There's more.
there's more.
there's more about this scene.
So Zachary Levi, in a live Instagram, said people are, quote, people are slagging on James because Jennifer Holland, his wife, who is an actress who's on Peacemaker and was in the Suicide Squad, which is connected to the Justice Society. We used Jennifer and Steve in that scene, in that mid-credits in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, but that was not the original intent. Second quote, the original intent was to have Hawkman and Cyclone be there to invite me. By the way, this is a little bit of a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. Sorry. Whatever, it's all online anyway. So our intent, our desire, Walter Hamada, Peter Safran, David Sandberg.
He probably didn't care because the whole, this is going to be on the streaming platform in a month, pissed him off. So
Walter Hamada, Peter Safran, David Sandberg, myself, everybody. We had an awesome scene that would have tied me into the JSA with Hawkman and with Cyclone, and we were thwarted. And then I think like a couple days later, the rap came out. So he actually like, I think this is on Instagram. I don't use Instagram, so reposted. I don't fucking know. Oh crap! He on his own story.
He shared it to his live story.
Yeah. So basically, the picture was quote: "The rap confirms that in Shazam: Fury of the Gods, the Justice Society from Black Adam were recruiting Shazam in the post credits. The Rock denied access, and David F. Sandberg had to make a last minute decision to add Amelia and John. Dwayne the Rock Johnson attempted to restructure the DC." EU centering him and Henry Cavill's Superman. The Rock didn't allow Zachary Levi to cameo in a post credit for Black Adam. The rap and Zachary Levi said at the bottom said the truth shall set you free. Upside down smiley face
with the faith hands.
Oh my god!
So I told you boys, he was stirring stuff up. Actually, even was like addressing like Snyder like questions.
Bunch of people on Twitter though, real quick, back to that Holland thing. Lot of them are like, they're like, what has Jennifer even been in? And like, they basically said, yeah, look at her acting career and how she like disappeared for 10 years until he started sticking her in his movies. Oh, and by the way, that was probably because she was his girlfriend/wife. And a lot of people were like, James Gunn just basically has nepotism. And I was like, man, you all are just trying to cook this mother alive.
Holy cow.
They will self-destruct if they can help it. Like, I'm telling you.
But there was a few tweets. I think this shows me Tuesday night. Technically Tuesday in the morning, actually. Real early. Like, he tweeted them around like midnight, but I grabbed these at 2 a.m. and it said 2 hours ago. So someone tweeted, I'm a Snyder fan, but I'm also a DC fan who loves your Shazam version. I wish we can continue watching you interact with other characters of the old DCU. And he retweeted it saying, me too. The rocker and the sunglass face. Then
he's very upset that he doesn't get to continue as the character.
Then someone else asked, hey, Zach, do you have a favorite Zack Snyder film? Have you ever thought of collaborating? Thanks. And he replied, sure do, Richie Rich. Of all of his films, 300 still holds a top spot for me, but of his DC titles, I would say Man of Steel. And then but there is no denying that at the moment there are many Snyder fans who are happy for the failure of your film, and many of them wish that everything that is to come just fails for not continuing with the films that they want. It cuts off there. I assume that's what it is. And then he also said, this is also true, sad but true, how much this actually affects the box office is anyone's guess, but I think the biggest issue we're having is marketing. This is a perfect family movie, and yet a lot of families aren't aware of that, which is a shame. Which I guess leads into, the next point here real quick. Hey, guys, if you were, kind of on the fence one real quick thing. He also addressed that apparently Henry Cavill in a live video, of course, I don't have actual quotes of this, but ones I remember saying is he basically was very adamant about that they tried to get Henry Cavill to actually cameo in the first movie.
Yeah.
But once again, I think they were thwarted again, and that it just...
Yeah, and then I think the director, to save face, I think he claimed that it was just a scheduling issue as to why they couldn't actually get Henry on set.
Yeah, I think there's another quote that there was like the day of or the day prior or something of that scene being shot. They were told that like it wasn't going to happen or something like that. The plans fell through. But he was very adamant. He was like, we really wanted to give you that moment. He's like, I'm a comic nerd. Of course, I want to give you awesome like crossovers and cameos and give you those wow moments. It just unfortunately didn't happen. And he basically was giving kudos to the team that worked really, really hard, and they really, really tried. It just didn't work out, and obviously that wasn't their plan. But leading into what I was going to say, if you guys were on the fence about seeing it, which I will say it is worth seeing. Like I felt like editing last week, I was like, man, I was kind of brutal on this movie. And it's not a bad movie. It's just
what I said to my buddy. I was like, the movie's not great. It's good, but my problem is that if I get into what I don't like about the movie, you would not get the impression from me that it's a good movie.
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt last week when we were talking.
Like I said, last week, like when you guys said what you thought, and I was like, oh, it's a relief because honestly, I was like, well, if you guys praise the movie, I was just gonna sit here and say, you know what, the movie just wasn't for me. Because I mean, I will be honest, like it's a good movie, but I'll be honest, I don't know that I'll ever care to watch it again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out of my way for it.
That's
Yeah.
immediately how I felt on the ride home when I was like asking myself, just like, it's just like, dude, do I really care to go watch this movie? It's like, again, it's like, not really. And especially like if somebody asked me, it's like, if you could only watch the first or the second one again, which one would you choose? And I was like, first one, easy. Not even a second thought. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's not even close because the first one's amazing. Love the first one. But yeah, but obviously underperforming, and much like they did Black Adam, which I think lasted 56 days before going on to HBO Max or any like digital platform. Just had it. So Shazam will now be available for April 18th. 32 days.
No.
Okay, so yeah, that sucks for them. But one thing,
For the 45 days.
Yeah, so that's for digital purchase is April 18th, and then May 1st would be a potential HBO Max stream date. But yeah, 32 days after its initial release in theaters, it's already going to be available for digital purchase or rent.
I wonder.
Which, to your point that you said earlier, it's probably why Zachary Levi ain't giving a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Flash in the pan, dude.
Sounds like they didn't market it. They didn't care to market it.
Although I also did see that the actress of the mom in the movie was basically like the future of Shazam is unwritten or whatever, like basically hinting at that they could come back. And I'm like, well, out of most of the properties, I was like, you guys still somewhat have a shot of coming back.
She was also,
yeah, it's true.
She also, I love too. She also said in that interview, she's like, I feel like it got poor reviews because critics have a political agenda.
Oh, yep.
And I was like, well, that's just Hollywood now.
I felt that way for a long
I was
time.
like, literally just look at movies that are made in general. Like, there's an agenda behind it.
Everything they do.
Everything they do. That's not what I wanted to bring up, though. What I wanted to bring up is kind of this, what was going on behind the scenes theory I got. So, Black Adam, not heavily marketed maybe, but more so like hype build up because like The Rock finally gets to play the part. Then Dwayne Johnson using essentially his status as this
reach.
maybe coerced them into getting Cavill back into the universe and trying to do what he's talking about, which is make those two the center of it because they're the stars. They're the Hollywood stars. So I'm guessing that the brass at Warner Brothers or DC or whoever were fine with it, but then by the time the movie was reviewed, they kind of realized maybe how like, oh, this movie isn't going to be as great as like we're hyping it up to be. This kind of shit. And then that's when all these, the director you have all these changes now, and then essentially the Snyderverse just ultimately gets axed. I just kind of wonder if like all the top brass at Warner Brothers just decided to go ahead with these changes because they had bought into what Dwayne Johnson wanted, but then they saw his own movie and were kind of like, this isn't there, it's not it. And then they were like, okay, we're finally done. Let's just axe all this crap. We'll reboot it. Like this is really just so we have something to talk about.
Right. I will say that Gunn and Safran would have axed all that because by the time, because you got to remember that Henry Cavill cameo was last minute. That was like a month before the movie came out.
Okay,
so
that's
DeLuca
right,
and all of them would have already seen the Black Adam cut way long ago, so they already would have known what kind of movie they got.
Okay.
And the execs at Warner Brothers, even after the cameo was official and everything, okayed Cavill to come out and say like, I'm back as Superman, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
And
like they had a whole deal worked out, or like.
So the WB execs were at the point where they were going to give the Snyderverse. It wasn't going to be probably Zack coming back, but they were going to give the Snyderverse Justice League another movie. They were going to give it another go to see how it went.
Yeah.
But then Zaslav hired Gunn and Safran, and they were like, nah, this ain't it, Chief.
Yeah.
But I think the money that Black Adam, or lack thereof, that Black Adam made, which actually is kind of sad that I'm looking at this now, because it's like, I think Shazam 2 is going to make less money than Black Adam, which is odd because Shazam 2, while not a super profitable film, was highly received from both critics and fans. So you would think that the sequel would get a boost in numbers because it was well received. You think more people have seen it by then. So you'd think, if anything, their numbers would grow. But if anything, well, not if anything, they're just worse. They're objectively worse than the first one. So it's kind of odd to me that Black Adam is like a quote-unquote unknown character in his first movie, and a dying DC is doing better than a well-received first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like
going into its sequel.
It's like you said.
But I'm sure they looked at the numbers and were just like, nah, I'm not good enough. Like, clearly this universe is dying. Nobody believes in this brand anymore. We just got to reboot. I think that's why you're seeing the changes that you're seeing.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I couldn't remember when Top Brass and all that changed over, but I'm just like sitting here trying to think like, okay, why did the new regime that came in were like, nah, we're not going to continue this. Like, this is kind of, you know.
Yeah, it explains the marketing, or lack thereof.
Well, right, yeah. Why are they going to spend that money? You know, yeah.
Yeah, I truly think Black Adam might have been like the last hurrah, because they put some decent marketing behind that, and of course, you know,
The Rock sells
Dwayne,
himself.
like did his own $1 million marketing.
He's walking marketing. I mean,
he is. He's a walking billboard
between the XFL and everything he does.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants to watch it. Even if it's just in support of him, they'll watch it. They'll watch it.
You could have a glass of water completely full, and he could sell you a glass half full of water.
Absolutely.
And trade you.
Hell yeah.
Last news for DC. Hello, fellow Snyder fans. Hello. I addressed you last week.
Man.
I'm here to address you again, because you guys keep going crazy out there. Keep going crazy. All right, so there was a new poster that Zack Snyder posted on Twitter. It's of the statue memorial of Superman. You know, this one. I'll show it.
I need one of you doing that right here.
But at the top it says 10 years of heroes, 3 epic movies, 1 man's vision, and then at the bottom in the cracked staircase it says Snyderverse trilogy. We'll get to some other stuff that's in here in a second. But yeah, clearly still teasing. I think actually the tickets for it went on sale today and they already sold out. So GG, enjoy that money raised.
Yep. Tweet down
In
there
10 minutes,
I
they
think
sold out.
Tagged WB in it.
Well, they're helping put on the show. Oh, you mean he did? But so the Snyderverse has gone into a little bit of a craze here. So they think there's some symbolism here behind the statue, which I will admit they did change it. Which I will show the original what the statue actually looked like, where his hand that's in the air. It's more flat like this in the movie, but in the poster it's more out like this. So the hand that's at the bottom, where it's got the 3 in and the 2 out, the theory is that there's originally supposed to be a 5-movie plan, so there's 3 down, 2 to go. Obviously, Justice League 2 and 3, and then the hand up above is just 5 for the 5 movies, I guess. And then Superman, obviously, because the memorial is destroyed. Now that it's here, it's got cracks in it because it's been quote unquote restored. # restore the Snyderverse. And then the one thing that I made me do the Batman meme or GIF of just this is interesting.
Your wild ass theories.
This is interesting. I put on my tinfoil hat for a second. There is a logo, or logos. There's a Warner Brothers logo, an AMC logo, but then there's also a Universal logo. So that caused everybody to. They still keep using the hashtag sell the Snyderverse and Netflix. Netflix is too broke. Okay, if you're gonna keep going, choose a different platform. Netflix is broke.
They won't make money until they're charging $40 a month for that.
But anyway, the Paramount logo is in the bottom right, so everyone's
Sell to
freaking out.
Amazon. They got money.
They got money. Apple's got money.
Yeah, Apple's got a ton of money.
But so like everyone's maybe is assuming that or thinking that Universal's gonna maybe buy the rights to the Snyderverse. I'm here to tell you once again, SnyderCon It's a goodbye to the Snyderverse. If I was to put any money on anything being shown, it's that we might get to see that Green Lantern scene finally. The Universal logo is there is because it's going to be shown at a theater or IMAX that is owned by Universal.
Nah, dog, it means
That's
dun, dun.
why the logo is there. I would love to be wrong. If I'm wrong, feel free to just blow up our comment section. J-Sib,
Tag him.
you wrong AF. You dumb AF. Do it. Tag me.
The opening of the con,
Do it if you
Snyder
bad.
just walks up to a stage with a single microphone and he just looks around like Wolf of Wall Street. We fucking sold it to Amazon! Ah,
Show goes
yeah,
on! Show
yeah! Just-
They're gonna have to bring a wrecking ball.
I'm not fucking leaving!
Show goes on. Show goes on.
And then fucking Godot and Cow, all of them just walk out and just cheese and smile like cow.
And we're back.
Be hot.
For what? For what?
What?
Family.
Family!
I watched Fast and Furious 10 times.
Family!
Yeah.
Guys!
So funny. That's the signal.
But yeah, that's all I got for DC this week. So Marvel. What you got?
Marvel.
Getting fancy this week. Marvel.
Wow. Wow. Not much. So, our episode that
much,
we did
no.
record earlier this week, I had brought up, so I was a little, had some news since it got dropped on that Monday. But, allegedly, Victoria Alonso was fired, and allegedly, Kevin Feige did not interfere with said firing.
Ooh.
Hmm.
That's a pretty spicy
Drop.
allegations.
Allegations. Not that it really means much of shit. She's gone regardless. So, I don't know.
Big move. Apparently, like that one insider said, apparently created a toxic culture. Hopefully things
I
get
was gonna
better.
say,
Gonna
from
get better
what
from there.
the guy whose accounts that was from the New York Post that I was reading his tweets, apparently from his inside sources, it sounded like it was a pretty toxic work environment. Allegedly.
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 So hopefully, really what this all means is that with these delays, again, stuff gets touched up, looks a lot better. There was a lot of stuff being thrown around about release dates for things. I think I saw somewhere, I stupidly didn't save the article for the quote, but I think Owen Wilson was even asked when they thought Loki was going to drop, and he said when he was asked that into summer, maybe September type window.
That'd be nice.
Basically, everything's getting all pushed it all back. But thankfully, we do have Guardians coming up.
Can't wait for that.
Atom Tickets, which I've never used, but it's an online ticket distribution website.
I'm glad the Marvel fans still like James Gunn.
Yeah, he gave us some
Genuinely
good stuff.
mean it.
Yeah.
It wasn't sarcasm.
Hey, he gave us some good stuff.
That's why I wish some portions of our fan base would just give him a chance. Everyone's like, Suicide Squad didn't make any money. It's like, okay, pandemic era, day-and-day release. Just look at Guardians. Could be one of the strongest trilogies in the Marvel. One of. Wouldn't say
Yeah,
the, but,
consistently good, yeah.
like,
Well, the last one apparently is 2.5 hours. And I
nice.
really hope it is good. Because
Same.
the first one was really good, and then the sequel was good, but it just wasn't as good as
Agreed.
the first one.
It's better than we get any more for a sequel. You know what I mean? Usually, like, the sequel usually is either just a shit show or okay.
Mhm.
But I think it was good. This one was actually good for once.
For me personally, I can only ever think of 3 sequels off the top of my head that it's like the sequel's better than the first one.
Yeah.
But outside of those 3, usually the sequel's always bad.
Booty, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully this third one's pretty good. Because that's usually a thing. In a movie trilogy, it's usually like first one, great, sequel, bad, third movie, great again. Typically is how it goes. Now, granted, others. And what's hilarious is two of the ones I can think on top of my head is first one, great. Second one, holy crap, it's even better. Third one, oh, this is a step. Well, one of them, this is a step back. Then another one, oh, this was not it.
Yeah.
This is the way.
this is the way.
Like, he didn't need to be an emo kid, Sam. He didn't. Anyways, but it did give it. But it has given us one of the greatest memes of all time, so that's fine. The internet's still goated.
Which one? The Sea Chump, or the one where he's actually walking on the star?
I mean, insert it wherever. The whole damn sequence. I mean, yeah, see a chump and
I love the Sea Chump one. See a chump.
see a chump. Flips his hair. Forgot he even does that. All right, enough about the horribly old. Good God, it's 16 years old at this point.
Oh,
That hurts my brain and soul and heart and everything. Actually, because I'm this old now. Anyways, the last two things I got. I don't know what the IR stands for, but it's this thing called IR Gang Productions. Their Instagram shared photos that either they or someone caught of set scenes with Anthony Mackie and Jaquin Torres. And they were in street clothes, like normal street clothes, but it kind of looked like they were filming for Captain America 4. So the big rumor is that since Mackie's Sam Wilson is taking over as Captain America, then Torres's character, it's Danny, yeah, I can't remember. It's in the show because he makes an appearance in the show. Where people are rumored that they're thinking he's going to be in the movie as the next Falcon because in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, Sam Wilson gave his character the Falcon suit because he's like, I don't need this anymore, so you can have it.
Okay.
New Falcon incoming.
So we got potentially the next Falcon because we have the next Captain America coming in.
Pretty sweet.
It is sweet.
So yeah. So
I will say I kind of hope they'd like kind of do a good job of kind of like solidifying him as Captain America. Like if we're gonna do it, like do it. Like yeah, like don't. I saw someone say on Twitter, like, I hope I don't, like, we don't need, like, a Steve Rogers coming in and, like, oh, let me borrow that shield for a second. And just, like, I don't know. Just, like, yeah, we don't. I'm, like, what do you think? Do you even want Steve Rogers in this movie at all? I feel like if it's done right, it could work. But
well,
I feel like there's a fine line you got to play.
He's technically old. He's an old man. So if he's in, okay. If he's in it, he should just be.
That's true. He is older, but
he should just be the 100 and whatever years old he technically would be, and like on his deathbed. Fine.
Yeah, that'd be solid closure to that character.
Actually, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what happens in the comics.
Yeah.
I would like that, but I don't want a young Chris Evans back, and it's like random multiverse bullshit excuse that he's in the movie.
I like that idea of him being like on his deathbed. And I almost wonder if there would be. I feel like a good scene would be like if there was like if he was like still doubting himself, and there was like a moment of just like with him and Steve on his deathbed, and just like basically like, no, I chose you for a reason. Like you were meant to take on this mantle.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say if he was on his deathbed with like Sam, Buck, Rhodey kind of around him. Oh, Banner. Like the OGs. Like the ones that were on the Avengers teams. Because that's the thing. In the MCU, like at the end of Age of Ultron, it was the new Avengers team for the MCU. We just never got it on screen because the next movie they're all in is Civil War where they're fighting each other. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, I would like that. If it was all of them, I feel like that would be fitting because, again, that would be like the comic because in the comic it's like a handful of the heroes that were always closest to him that are right by his bedside when he's dying in the hospital. I would like that.
I think that would be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That would be a good send-off.
And then bring him back for Secret Wars.
Well, yes,
Of course.
yeah. Everyone gets to come back for Secret.
Hell
Throw
yeah.
Robert Downey $20 million or whatever you got to do.
Just back up the Brinks trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No shit.
Just wakes up one morning, just has a cup of coffee, and just sees the Brinks trucks, and he just sighs and goes, "Oh fuck, I gotta go play Iron Man again."
Here
He's
we
like,
go,
He just automatically even knows what it is without a moment's notice.
Will you sign here, sir? I guess.
I guess I will. I think I will.
I'll do one more.
I will. All right, and then the last thing I got is industry insider Jeff Snyder. I think I've brought this guy up once or twice before, but anyways, he was on the Hot Mic podcast, and he says that Owen Wilson and will be Mobius, and then Tara Strong will come and be the voice of Miss Minutes for Deadpool 3 because Wade Wilson is going to be taking on the TVA. It makes sense because he was using Cable's time-traveling device at the end of the second movie.
Yeah.
So I could see the punchline all get set up where they're like, "Hey, asshole, you literally went and changed all this shit. Now this multiverse is all in flux and blah, blah, blah." And he's going to be, he's going to be like, "Wait a minute." And then that's how he's going to go get Wolverine, and I don't know. That's my working theory, but we've brought this up already once before about there was heavily rumored that those two would be in the movie to begin with. So I guess it coming from this industry insider just basically is more kind of solid confirmation without actually being confirmation. It's like you can take this guy's word that they'll most likely be in it. It would kind of be I personally think, let me know what you guys think, I think it would be a well done way to introduce him into the MCU.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll say I actually kind of like that. Like, yeah, it makes sense he was using Cable's time traveling thing.
Because it's Deadpool, it's goofy
It's
and
it's
wacky
it's just
anyway.
it's also a goofy way to get him. I think it's kind of perfect, honestly.
With how dead ass serious the TVA is, and how like they're trying to crack down on him, traveling through time, and he's like, "You."
Yeah, and it's also just a cheesy, goofy way to kind of introduce his character into the MCU and to the other MCU heroes anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you're saying. I agree. I think it's almost perfect.
I
if they do this.
really like that. I shouldn't be surprised. I should know that they're gonna.
I just really wonder who the antagonist of the movie is going to be.
It's true.
Part of me wonders if, like, since they're going to pick up Hugh Jackman coming back and they want to do the whole yellow suit thing, that was abandoned from when they were rebooting the X-Men franchise. Part of me wants the villain to be Mr. Sinister because he got abandoned. They were trying to set him up, and they never did. So, pay it off. Like, just give that character a movie and just have it be this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I'm really excited for that movie.
Because there's an end credit scene in one of the X-Men movies. It's either because I don't think it's in either the Wolverine movies, but there is an end credit scene where it's like very clear, like this omnibus character that went somewhere. I think it's at the end of the Origins Wolverine shitty movie, but he goes and like he picks a briefcase up and people are like, "That's Mr. Sinister. He's in the background trying to do all his cloning experiments and all that." But again, like they never paid it off because Fox couldn't make their movies like, consistently good. It was always amazing dog shit, amazing dog shit, amazing, and then it went dog shit, but whatever. Over now. That's all I had.
Over now.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Now.
That's my toxic report on Marvel. Star Wars. What you got?
Well. Another week of good Star Wars. I won't say great, but good Star Wars. Parts of it were great. Some of it was...
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, the episodes?
No, I'm talking... we're just Star Wars in general for the 2 episodes for this week.
Yeah, because, actual news, you had something hot. It's on my phone, because I forgot to write it down.
Oh, yeah, you got a new director. Again.
Dude,
And apparently 3 movies are going to be announced at Star Wars Con or whatever. Again.
I did hear
I
that.
can't wait to hear when they get canceled.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, at this point, I can't even talk about that shit anymore. Because when you got this, it's like, oh,
y'all just canceled like 3 or 4 movies you all announced.
Oh, dude, it's like you get a movie, everybody gets a movie, and then we'll see who lasts the longest. That's honestly what it feels like. But that's why I didn't even.
Who doesn't have any quitting them?
Yeah, no shit. I didn't even put it on the board for that very reason. Is I hear that sounds great, but doesn't mean shit to me until you give me something.
I think
real.
the director is the director of Peaky Blinders. I think.
Well,
that's the one that
cool.
actually got named or name dropped. I'm sorry, I don't know the name off the top of my head.
So can we get Cillian Murphy as the Sith Lord?
Dude, yes. I'm hot. I'm hot by that.
My God.
Right up by that idea, man.
I'm hot and bothered.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, I'm being it with that. But then again, I have no idea where they're going. Nobody does. So other than the main 2 with the keys to the kingdom, but
does one of them still have the keys?
Who?
Who
would have the?
I heard they were about to change the locks.
Favreau and Filoni.
Well, not on them.
That's what I mean. That's really the ones I mean.
Those
are the only ones.
I thought you were talking about the real head. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if she has the keys anymore. I think they changed the locks on those. She might still have a temporary key.
We don't know because like Feige had to go back to Marvel.
I've been hearing that it's still pretty much the word that she's going to be out here soon.
Wouldn't surprise me. She's pissed. I mean, there's been a lot of. I mean, obviously,
it was announced.
Going to be Star Wars.
It was announced a long time ago that came out that she was supposed to be stepping down and leaving, but I feel like that was forever ago.
Well, I mean, that stuff takes time.
True, if they want a smooth transition out.
So, I'd say that it seemed pretty clear that it wasn't going to be immediate. But
yeah, but those 2 have pretty much clear. I mean, creative capability on everything. They've given them that, and that's been the most impressive part of it is that you don't see as much interference in the creative process because those 2 are like hand selected by George. So just don't mess with it. just don't mess with it.
I mean, the meme where they're mocking Thor and Filoni, this cowboy hat, and he's just saying at the screen, it's from Ragnarok. I'm not as strong as you, and it's George, and he's just no. Stronger.
That's awesome.
It's just
that's amazing. But obviously, we only have a couple things. Basically, just Batch and Mando. I mean, not just Mando, but just Batch and the Mando. But few good points in this episode of Mando. Obviously, we get to see where.
Whoa. We starting off high?
No.
Starting off high and ending low?
No.
We're starting off with the Batch.
Yeah, starting with the Batch. Yeah, definitely starting with the Batch.
We're going to jump right into our reviews?
Well, it's pretty much what we got.
Okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, the news of the Star Wars is really therein. I mean, obviously, we're just waiting for Survivor to come out, and that's pretty much what we're doing right now.
Okay.
That's what we're doing right now. So, obviously, I believe, and I actually didn't even see this. It looks like there's a book that Star Wars released that is the events between Fallen Order and Survivor. So I'm gonna have to check that out and get that read before the game comes out. So that's got to happen.
When you do, you come share it here.
Oh yeah,
this
exactly.
is where we discuss these things.
Oh, don't you get it twisted, man. We're going on a vacation together. You know, I listen to Star Wars in the car.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, but you listen to the novels.
Yes.
See, me, I want the soundtracks on blaring through my speakers because that's what I do.
Dude, they have all the old songs that play over the narration. So it's like, it's primo. Primo 14-hour drive, Kevin. Get ready. Primo.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Every book in Legends or canon always begins with that.
Ba 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 ba.
And then the hotness ensues, and then just like, what is that? Like a guy playing the organ or piano on fire.
That's John Williams. Yeah,
It's so funny.
That's he's the organ. He's on the beach and it's on fire.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Absolutely no one. John Williams when Jedi and Sith get ready to fight.
It's either,
True.
it's either that or they always do Hans Zimmer on that too. And it's like movie starts Hans Zimmer.
Dude, for real though.
Just go to town.
They're both goats.
So good.
That's
the
funny.
goats of the music.
Well, since we have to, Bad Batch.
Good God, everyone! You would think that
Everyone-
he really enjoys it. Can you tell?
You know,
Everyone's just like, why do they even review this show anymore? They just
You know
poo-poo
what?
on it every week.
Well, it's goddamn boring.
and it's got some good ones, but you gotta pick through the dookie to find what you're looking for, and it's just
I don't want to pick through any dookie.
that's what I'm saying. That's what we've been doing this whole time, proverbially. I mean, you know, so yeah, so they're on that island that was magically okay after it just got obliterated by a tsunami. So they're all hanging out, they're repairing things, but I mean they had
storms stop here. What the fuck?
well, I mean,
So they're repairing it.
Yeah.
It was only the very tippy top that didn't get affected.
And also, we never know how much like time gap there is between episodes.
that's fair.
I
You know,
mean,
it's-
good God.
I
We
mean,
don't know until the dude who created
The
it
interview.
gets in an interview and is blatantly asked, "Bro, what time period is it?" Oh shit.
Oh yeah, BT Dubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you remember them episodes? I'm actually gonna make them make sense now. But no, it's honestly, we were just talking about this. As far as what happens in this episode, it is spotty for me. I couldn't stay engaged.
So Crosshair
I do.
is they're trying to torture him to get because the weird wacko scientist that's gonna take over for all the cloning, he wants to know where Omega is. Or well, he wants to know where the batch is. And Crosshair's like, let me guess, you want the kid. And he's like, give me the information, you're a free man. And Crosshair, like, surprisingly, he just doesn't like the Empire anymore. He's tight-lipped. He won't give it to him. So then they just ensue torturing.
Right. I remember he breaks out.
He does attempt to break out. The female scientist that kind of seems like she doesn't really want him to suffer and just kind of like wants to make it easy for him. She's kind of like,
That's who voices a scientist in Bad Batch. Because when he plays
it's
he
him?
plays William in Westworld, and when it was bugging me, I was like, I know that voice, and then when I looked
It
it
was
up, I was
bugging
like,
me,
I
too.
do
That's
know this
sweet.
voice.
You know
It's
what's-
Jimmy Simpson.
what's crazy about that is I thought that it was Nathan Fillion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like, but because to me they just sound very familiar. But now that you show me the face, I'm like, oh, okay, that actually, yeah, that makes sense.
So I was like, just
Dude,
hearing
he's in
that.
a lot. He's in a lot of shit.
He is.
He's in
He's
House of
awesome.
Cards. He's in Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think he probably started
Probably one of his earlier ones.
earlier. I mean, yeah. And yeah, he's voice acted for other stuff. But anyways, that dude wants to know where Omega's at. So Crosshair's like, they're trying to set him up. They think he's passed out. He gets loose. The scientist tells him, she's like, you're not going to make it far. And he doesn't. He gets
Right.
knocked out. Then, yeah, we pan back over to
He does get far enough to send a signal out, though, doesn't he? Because
He does
He
get far enough
does.
to send a signal out.
I think he tells the batch to hide or stay hidden. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, because I remember they pan to that scene where they're talking and it says he's trying to tell us,
So, yeah,
trying to
but
warn us.
essentially our episode starts with Echo
Oh, yeah,
and a
spoilers.
couple, Echo and Gregor. And the only reason I even knew it was Gregor is because the way that the voice actor, like, it's very specific with Gregor. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, because it's like, man, I always forget it's like the one guy does all these different changes, and it's crazy cool.
Yeah.
So they're rescuing Howitzer,
I can't remember.
the clone that was in command on Ryloth in the first season when they were helping out Hera, or Well, all the Syndulas, but yes. Pretty sure that clone was Howitzer.
Yes.
Anyways, it's the same clone because he's getting transported. It's the same clone. I'll tell you right now, it is the same clone. I just can't remember the specific name. I believe it's Howitzer. So he's getting transported, and you basically realize that Echo and Gregor and Rex are essentially fighting what they can of the Empire to save all the clones that are literally being taken and rounded up to probably get executed or something, or the prisoners. So they save them. Essentially, they go to the island. Where at the island, it's like they're repairing it, fixing it.
Wrecker's fishing,
catching
with a double pole.
Yeah,
that's right.
Catching real big fish. Hunter's like anxious to get the hell out of there, and Tech is teaching Omega how to pilot the ship because it's inevitable that it's gonna have to happen.
Which was funny
because they're just gonna get old and age while Omega.
I feel like I didn't really remember this episode too well, but I feel like when I did watch it, I was like, yeah, I kind of like this episode, but then I just forgot about it.
Yeah,
there's parts like her learning to fly. It was
I'll say at least this episode was continuing on a thread and still building upon something. At least this should have been the episode we got last week, but
true. So it then shows Echo and all them. They show up on that planet to meet up with Hunter. They got the signal that Crosshair sent out. They decrypt it, and he's like, well, what did he say? Because they're like, okay, because they had an image too. They like stole an image, because that's the thing, is the ship that Echo and Gregor and all them were on, he downloaded a bunch of information. So they showed the image of Crosshair being arrested by the new stormtroopers. And they're debating, like, well, this could be a trap. He did it to us once on Cameo. This could just be a trap. But they don't think it might be, because apparently the message was Plan 88 or something is like the whole code that's given to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like, okay, that's not good. And you can tell Hunter's like kind of torn. He's like, okay, I want to trust him, but I don't know that we can. And
gonna betray us again.
It's like, will he betray us again? Is this picture legitimate that he really got arrested? Because like they know from the records, like, oh, he was arrested because he shot his commanding officer. And so they're like, well, it could be a trap. And they're like, I don't know. Then I think it ends with it pans back over to Crosshair. He gets asked one last time, and he's just tight-lipped. He refuses to give them up. So that to me means that he's basically has redeemed himself.
They mind flay his ass?
No, they brought in the same droid that Vader uses on Leia in Episode 4. It even uses the same wobbling sound effect. It's the new Imperial floating all black thing, and it's got the syringe, they just pump him full of whatever that liquid is supposed to. I imagine it's like a truth serum.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, is like he's sitting there fighting it. So we'll see what happens with the last two episodes. I said it to you. So the last two episodes are going to drop at the same time. Well, there's only 16 in the season, so they're going to drop next Wednesday. So we'll have the finales of... And this is the finale of all of it, right? Because I think you reminded us that we only have 2 seasons of this show?
I believe so. Because I remember we were kind of more speculating more so than not when we said that obviously we know it has to have an end point. I know.
Well, they have other projects that they had been working on and other stuff. So, like,
it would be horrible planning to,
I don't know,
later on this year or early next year drop another.
If it's truly the end, I could see the team dying.
I could either see them dying, or I could see like certain parts of it splitting up and because in my opinion, I think that they're going to use this platform of a show for individual spin-offs and stuff like that.
I 100% believe that they will try to main character Omega in some way down the road.
100%.
And she will pop up out of nowhere in one of the live action shows that are like Mando and Ahsoka, all that crap, like, because she ages naturally, so she would really in the timeline be around Boba Fett's age,
Or
or
she-
would be his age, or maybe even a little older.
Or she gets captured by the New Order and is the clone that gets used to bring back Palps.
Honestly, that was
I'm
kind of my
gonna
gut.
say that I'm just gonna
Well, and a lot of people have theorized that that's going to be what it is because her hairstyles, the way that they made her, she looks very much like Palpatine.
Yeah, especially the way they present him animated wise too. So
Mhm.
it honestly, to me, it would do a lot of things for the show. It would bring back, if we show a scene where we show her getting drug away from the batch while they're caught, and we see all this development in her, and now the Empire is just gonna rip it all away. You know, I mean, that would reinvigorate the hatred for the Empire.
It's got to be either her or Grogu.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of them two.
And we know damn well who it's not gonna be.
Well, I'll say this.
The goo.
Here's
Could be though, because Grogu doesn't show up in the sequel trilogies.
right.
Where was Grogu?
I was gonna say.
So Grogu's got to at least be dead, or he's in Mandalorian hiding.
That's why it's so interesting on which one is it, because we know what happens with Luke's Jedi.
Yeah.
In the sequel trilogy. So yes, which one of them is it? I personally still think it's Grogu because I would think they want Grogu because of the midichlorians.
That's what I would think. But
because I don't think that they can just. I believe that it's like, yeah, we can make clones, but I don't know that the clones can just be like, oh, I'm super sensitive with the Force because I just have a higher midichlorian.
But Omega has had hints about being Force sensitive.
I'm pretty sure that's what
and that might be the magic thing.
That's what they're trying to get at, is they're saying that that's why they're calling her Omega. That's the end.
Because you could
What
argue
the end goal was to create she's the last Force sensitive clone, is what that's supposedly what they're trying to say.
Here's real tinfoil hat for you, because you could argue that Grogu doesn't show up in the sequel trilogy because he never became a Jedi.
He's a Mandalorian.
Because he became a Mandalorian,
right.
But he's basically just kind of like a. What's the one that originally?
I mean, I actually fully like this
because they were Force saber.
I want the 800 Years in the Future sequel where he's just flipping around with Mando armor and a darksaber.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Was it Vizsla?
Yeah.
Is Vizsla the one that had the darksaber originally? Or made the darksaber? Saber?
Vizsla.
It was House Vizsla that created it. I can't remember his name.
His name is something Vizsla.
Well, he was force sensitive,
like
wasn't he? Or
yes,
had like
he was like the
so
very
he could
first
so
one.
Grogu could just be the new Vizsla essentially. Get the darksaber, has force, but he's not a full blown Jedi.
Yes.
So that's why he didn't show up as a Jedi.
the Vizsla that was force sensitive was a Jedi, but he didn't want a lightsaber, so he made the darksaber.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grogu, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, dude, honestly, oh god, just the idea that he can still be around, but the only thing that kind of throws me off is that in the sequel trilogy, you don't hear jack snot about Mandalore. Like, so how long would that have been? Since like now, where they're discovering that there's a mythosaur on Mandalore and they're starting to get their groups back together a little bit?
I wonder if Mandalore was one of the planets that they blew up in Episode 7. Because remember, they fired like lasers, plural.
Different system. That was Hacian Prime, I think, is what that one was. And
they fired the laser and it was all in the one system. I thought it went throughout the galaxy.
Nope, that was one system. They just because that system was where the New Republic was, so they destroyed the entire New Republic. Boom.
Right.
So that was the Hacian Prime, I think, is what the name of the system is.
Okay.
And so they took that out. So, I mean, Mandalore's on the Outer Rim. So.
Okay.
You know, it's
well, then that's why.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know, I mean, it's just they're just out there. You know, obviously they're keeping themselves more while they rebuild, I'm sure. You know, obviously time will tell. Mandalorian will tell. But
No, it'll be in the next trilogy. We'll actually go and screw with them, and it'll be a utopia again because they had 80 years to build from being ransacked by Palps and his buddies, and
they can have another civil war. All that work just to fight each other again in 80 years.
Look at you, idiot.
It hurts because it's true.
Just get it right, man. You guys are like the Spartans of Star Wars, and you guys still can't just come on.
Well, they are the Spartans / the Greeks of Star Wars, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
but that was Bad Batch anyway.
We went on a little tangent there, but how do we want to round up the batch? What do you guys give this?
7. Give it at least 7. Because I feel like it's setting up for the finale we're getting. So I'm like, okay, fine.
So after you helped me remember everything, I was like, no, this was like a good episode.
I'm gonna have to start just taking notes through the whole episode to keep myself involved.
I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7 too. I thought about giving it a 6-8, but KP's right. It was a good episode.
I gave it a 6, just because I couldn't keep engaged more than anything, and that's just at the end. That's
been a problem with the second season.
Yeah, I just can't stay engaged with this one.
I'd say the first season was definitely way more engaging.
Awesome.
Way more engaging.
It was awesome. First season, if they even had 3/4 of the energy and the actual substance, but we're moving away from the main timeline. So the more we move away from the main timeline, the less we can relate with what we see.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about it right now, but I still have hope. I
hope they finish strong. Yeah. Especially if this is seems like they're setting up for what we want. It seems like, at least what I want.
Yeah.
So hopefully it finishes strong, and if it's the last season,
it'll end quick and fast.
Hopefully strong, and honestly, it might be a good thing with the way that we felt about this season. So,
yeah, it would be disservice to the Bad Batch to put another season out, and it just gets slower and more arbitrary.
I say if they do, I would hope they would condense that down to 8 to 10 episodes or something like that. Then
wish they did it with this one.
Yeah, they should have done it with this one.
The way they did it this way, I wish we were bitching about it. I remember because we thought it was only going to be 8 or 10 episodes, but I wish they would have done that.
Yep, they probably. Yep.
Yeah, probably would have been better.
Yeah.
But yeah, lead us into the Mando.
Man,
such a weird episode for me.
It really was in some ways, but it was everywhere.
I
felt like it was. I mean, we had our streamline of Grogu and his starting to train as a youngling, but then we hop over to him getting rescued, and then there's that whole sequence there. I mean, it was everywhere like it typically is whenever they're trying to explain Grogu's past. But
guys, it was awesome.
It was fucking awesome.
Bo-Katan is scouting out her new army. She's walking through. She's watching these people train.
There are many ups in this episode.
No, very.
She's she's looking around. She's like, okay, all right.
You want to know my opinion of this episode?
Got a little army. Yeah, what's your opinion?
I was almost fully prepared to come in and be like, yeah, Batch, that's how you do a filler episode. But they just made so many just brain dead decisions. Where I just really want to go who wrote this shit?
For Mandalorian?
Yes, I know it's Favreau, but
yeah, he wrote it.
But very questionable writing decisions in this episode where I'm like, what in the hell was that? May I need to go to so apparently it's Vizsla's kid the whole time, right? As soon as they get up to the nest, he can't wait. He's got to get to his kid immediately. But when they're down at the bottom, he's like, I'll wait 20 hours. I'll wait 20 hours. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, didn't consider that, but all right.
Oh, don't shoot at him while he's carrying the kid away because he might shoot the kid.
Yeah.
But then he points out later that the bird always gets away because they run out of jetpack fuel. So why not take the chance and shoot the bird and maybe the kid will live because you lose him every other time? Also, weird. Oh, and let's not talk about the fact that when they did get to the nest and the bird showed up with the kid, he spit him up out of his stomach and he was not wet at all. Let's point that out.
Well, that's just.
And also, too, wasn't
that's just
disintegrated by stomach acid. And also, like, people have pointed out, like, birds of prey do not, like, when they get something and take it back to the nest, they shred it immediately and eat it. They don't gulp it or wait on it for 20 hours and then, like, oh, are you hungry now a little bit? No, they eat it immediately.
Okay, my retort to that is this is fucking Star Wars.
Okay, then
so
go back to my
toss out,
previous
like,
point.
What we know about reality and how birds act. Let's just assume, too.
Kid's been in the bird's stomach for 20 hours. Let's address that then.
Boba Fett was in a Sarlacc pit for 10 years.
With armor on.
So the kid had armor on.
But he didn't have his helmet on when he got spat out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think so.
Yes, he did.
He did.
He had all his armor on.
And just rolled into
So
the pit.
I'm going to say that,
I guess that kinda
one,
makes
the
sense now.
Beskar
Beskar.
protected him, just as it protected Boba Fett. in
But
the
is he
Sarlacc pit.
fully encased in Beskar?
Oh, God, they all never are, and we never care. Like, God.
But they got it on.
Okay,
It's
I
cool.
will give you that I didn't notice that yes, when he did say, like, it's my son, like, when he tells him to wait, and he's like, no, it's my son, I understand that, yeah, he probably should have had that urgency then the entire time. The only thing I can think of is, like, well, maybe he's, like, in the mindset of, like, well, my son's dead, this is a pipe dream, this is all a pipe dream, I don't want to get up there, and then he's, like, not up there, and he's like, oh, a heat source, and he's like, okay, that is him, he freaks out, like, okay, he is alive, and that's the only, like, explanation I could think, because, yes, you're right, I mean, thinking about it, yeah, and I literally didn't catch that, so maybe I should tone it back a little bit, but I'm a Bo-Katan stan, so don't care, episode's amazing, awesome, awesome intro, she's scouting out her army. What I thought was interesting was this is an old school cult from Mandalore. We know the background and how they are, how they feel. I will say the whole, I'm going to have Grogu fight this kid.
That was another issue.
Small. He's too small. No, he's fine. He's too small, whatever. And she's like saying to Grogu, she's like, my dad was this way with me. He's just very proud of you. And then Grogu's like, it's like, dumb, just, oh, I got shot. Looking back, whatever. But then it's like, and you knew it was like, okay, now how's Grogu going to win? And, like, go figure, he's doing the giant leaps and all this. And I kind of thought there might have come something out of that where the armor or one of them would be like, what the hell was that? And then it would be kind of revealed how, he's force sensitive, and they would be like, what the F do you have a Jedi doing here? Go on, get.
Well, they already know.
I guess they do then.
Yeah, from him being, from Din having to bring him back to his own kind, and then they rejected him, quote unquote, or he rejected them. And, the armor probably.
Oh, that's right. The guy from the house, from House Vizsla was there. That's right.
And so,
when the armor was telling him about it. So
and the only
That's another thing that annoyed me was that stupid dart scene. Either I don't understand the rules, which I think I do understand the rules, but apparently the Vizsla kid is just an idiot.
Yeah, I guess.
He only shoots one dart in the first 2 rounds, and then Grogu just unloads all 3 and wins. And it's just like, why didn't that kid just do that in the first round?
That I did catch, and I was like, well, that's a little interesting.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how the game's played. But then again, also with Grogu in that scene and the way that they pit them against each other, to me, I felt like that was a fitting change of mindset that they have to make him buy into to be, because obviously he's already been a part of one, dogmatic Jedi religion, and now he's going to another be all end all warrior religion. So he has to make that transition from only defending himself in a dangerous galaxy to you'll fight on command to the death. That's the.
I get the point of having Grogu do the exercise, and he's obviously getting this like warrior culture, but it's like,
it was
write a better scene. Like it just seems a little, like I get that they were probably getting it off as like, oh, well, he's like the bully, like quote playing with his food, but they also didn't ham that up enough for me to actually like buy into that. He was just like, he's too small, he can't do it. He's like, he's fine. He's like, okay, give me my darts then, I'll shoot him. But he's just. Shoots him once per round, and then all of a sudden Grogu's just like, it's like, all right, well, why didn't the first kid just do that? Like, at least in the second round, just like, you're not worth my time.
I will say,
Or maybe just teach them how
Unless
to do
there's like some rule where if you miss a dart, you don't get it back or something. Like,
I
they
will
explain
answer
that.
your
Like,
question
I don't
that
know.
yes, the kid's an idiot because like you could see that bird from a mile away. It's like, dude, why didn't you like
At least
actually
it.
move?
Getting scooped up on
Run,
the beach like an idiot.
ask for help before it grabbed
Yeah,
you.
like you got. It's like, man, you got
Alert
scooped
a
up-
parent.
You got scooped up pretty easily because you're an idiot.
Just fell in the sand like a dipshit. Just
So then,
You
yeah.
call yourself a warrior.
It's just the bird, and then yeah, the bird always gets away. Just we never have enough jetpack fuel, and it's like,
Oh, another question.
so it's like, well, why did you? Well, I guess they kind of both just kind of instinctively took off because they thought they might have been able to catch it.
Okay,
Right.
but second
Um,
follow up, because Bo-Katan was smart, because, she's the best character right now. Gets in a ship and follows. Do the Mandalorians there, serious question, do they not have ships?
we haven't seen them.
I mean, we haven't. Yeah,
Because we
haven't
technically
seen 'em.
haven't seen them, but wouldn't you think they had to get there somehow?
Unless they're hiding them, because obviously they're in a covert. They're hiding in a covert.
Yeah,
so
that's
That
the
was a
only thing I
genuine question, because
No, that's
true,
good- and that's a good
true,
question.
because we have not seen any ships. So it's not
So
like
they probably are
it's not like I
hiding
can
to
just
where
be
they
like, well,
were.
we saw them flying here, so why didn't they just get in their ships then if their jetpacks never run out? That was a genuine question. I have no
Yeah.
idea, because
They
I was like,
they might keep them
well,
underground.
Bo-Katan obviously had one, so it makes sense why she would get in one. But if
Mhm.
they had ships, why wouldn't they quit doing the jetpack thing? And then, but maybe they don't have ships. I don't know.
I think they do, and like it's like Jeff's saying is, I think they're just probably heading away.
Yeah, because I mean they're trying to hide against everybody. I mean not just the Empire; it's everybody. So or remnants of the Empire rather. But no, man, like you said, there's moments, but for the most part,
Episode
this
was
shit,
awesome.
this shit was awesome.
I
So
say,
they,
as much as I just pooped on it for a little bit, there was a lot to like in this episode.
So yeah, so they leave, and then Grogu's watching the armor, and he gets flashback because of the sparks and everything. So we get the extended of the hallway scene of when the Jedi are saving him.
Execute Order
66.
Yes,
Dude,
Lord
and the
Sidious.
clones, the clones looked like the armor, like
They look sweet.
it looked so good.
Yeah,
Like
so good.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Is
Like
the blue-
so shiny.
Is it-
501st.
Is that Anakin's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hot.
And then so obviously we
And then he gets to an elevator.
Yep.
And this man. Know who that is?
and it's freaking
It's like, oh,
it's really
This is the
sweet.
character you should have been that entire time in the prequels instead of that annoying ass clown. Yeah, I'm standing by this statement because I hate that character.
Well, you know what?
Hey,
He just released a statement on that.
It is
Did you see it?
okay.
I
It
don't
is
care what
okay
he
to hate
said.
the character. Just don't hate the actor.
We'll
No,
we'll do
'cause
this.
the actor just gave me some awesome shit. I mean,
Yeah, well, and okay, so obviously he just released a statement that he's talking about how magical it is that he's back.
oh well, God,
Ahmad Best, and he's
Roll
talking
Tide just lost.
it's about
Roll
as
Tide.
bad as Tennessee losing to the Owls.
I think.
Florida Atlantic.
Just sorry, quick intervention, but I think
Riptide.
after his
Low Tide.
I think after his player got arrested or whatever on charges in Florida, and then he was immediately kicked off the team, and Nick Saban, who in my opinion absolutely was taking a shot at another coach at the University of Alabama and said there's no such thing as wrong place, wrong time. Man, I think you just got in your own university's basketball team's head coach's head there.
Well, he sounded like a dipshit in the pregame interviews. I mean, he sounded bad. Like he sounded like now that he
Well,
muffed
the
up
whole
that
idea
interview.
behind it is like Saban is pissed about those basketball players
Yeah.
and the way that it was handled because it makes Alabama look bad, and
Yeah.
he doesn't want that. Which he's right because it does
Right.
make Alabama look bad. And-
Well, then you get 250 grams of marijuana and however much money and all this other shit. And dude, come on.
and honestly, they were the number one overall, and the number one overall always goes down.
Yeah,
Almost
That's true.
always goes down.
That's true.
that's true.
But back to Mando.
Fairly
Yeah,
good.
back to Mando.
Fairly
Sorry,
good
I just got the alert on my watch, and I was like, honestly not expecting that. Kind of figured Alabama would run away with it.
So
I thought they
really
would, too.
hyped for what is Best? What's his first name?
Ahmad Best.
Ahmad Best.
My best.
So Ahmad Best voiced Jar Jar, obviously.
Also
and
did the motion capture.
Yes,
Mhm.
and so and that's why I say voice, because it was just fucking suit with shit all around it.
Yeah, but he's still acting out.
I know. That's why I keep saying voiced. But he did release a statement saying, how thankful he was to be back. Fans almost drove him to the point of the S word that we don't want to talk about. He was in a dark place because of all the hatred that he received as an actor for that movie.
Yeah,
that's shitty then, because that's not his fault.
I know.
He's just doing a job to get paid.
Exactly.
It's George Lucas's fault for making stupid ass annoying characters.
Yeah, I heard a bit of that interview where he talked about bringing his kid back to, was it Brooklyn? And he was taking him over the Brooklyn Bridge, and he hadn't been there since the day that he almost jumped off, I guess. And he even mentioned how when he was standing on the edge, there was just like a gust of wind, and it nearly knocked him off, but he caught himself, and he just thought to himself, well, if I caught myself, obviously deep down I don't want this to happen, because otherwise I would have just let myself fall. But he said he got pretty emotional when he took his kid over the bridge, and he just stared at that spot. I guess he took a picture. I didn't get to see what the picture was, but I guess he took a picture of him and his son in front of that spot or something like that. Whoa. So it could kind of have new meaning, I guess, because none of his family, this family wouldn't be here if things had gone differently.
Well,
so
I'm glad that he got to come back as Kelleran
Beck.
Yeah.
And he is known as the Sabered Hand. So then that's what's cool about bringing him to this stage, is something that we didn't even really know about, that Jedi Temple Challenge. It's on Star Wars Kids on YouTube, and it's 3 groups of 2 younglings that go through these series of challenges in order to get kyber crystals. And he was the host of that, which is what his role in the Jedi Order actually was teaching younglings. And so bringing him from that role and kind of reintroducing him back into the world and making him comfortable, and then dropping this hot shit, this guy's back in it, dude.
Dude, when at first it's oh my god, this is sweet, but then when they get to the outside and the door opens and he just ignites the second saber, I was just oh my, yes.
And dude, it was so perfect with the force push off the edge of the balcony.
It's just the whole too, the way he was deflecting shots. He was just quick doing it. I was oh my god.
A little taste of real lightsaber combat again.
Right.
Oh my god, it's been so long.
Oh no, I'm in the minority here.
Oh, you don't like the fancy.
I thought the choreograph was shit. I thought they actually did him a disservice by giving him that choreography.
It's a different
style. It looked very stiff, very bland.
It's a style.
Very just stoic all the time. It didn't look good.
It's
very happy for him. Very happy he got that moment.
I was just happy to get the
I think it's really cool.
I can't remember what form it is, but there's a reason why it's that way, because he's form. I can't remember what number it is.
Oh, okay.
There's a certain form where everything's blocked because he uses the force to guide the sabers, so it looks really inside himself. Everything looks really awkward and like he's actually just running free form, but he's blocking as he goes. It's because they call him the Sabered Hand because he was the main saber trainer in the Jedi Order at that time. And they said that his hands, they may as well been sabers because he moves with the sabers as an extension of his arm instead of as a sword. They're just a part of him. So the Sabered Hand is Kelleran Beck. So that's why he looks the weird way that he does. He fights with a different style and form than we're used to seeing too. So it may look goofy, but there's a reason behind it.
I still thought it was.
I still think you can get that across, but it just not look like that. We've seen plenty of different fighting styles in Star Wars, and they've all looked good. This one did not come off very well to me.
Vader when he's older.
I mean, if you're talking, if you're talking original
trilogy, when they're
if you're talking original trilogy, that's something completely different.
True, but it also, if you look at Star Wars as one cohesive story, that's literally what he's.
I know.
Literally, when he knocks off Luke's hand, he goes, it's like he's rearing up with a lightsaber that weighs nothing. It's like, what are you doing,
bro? He's more machine than man. Come on, what do you want him to do?
He's all armored up, dude.
Going crazy, and he was the same suit man that he was in the sequel in the regular trilogy.
Hey, 13 years younger at that point.
I don't give a damn. He was synthetic then, and he's synthetic then.
I'm just saying, he's like 45 in Empire.
He's a machine. It means nothing with it to do with his.
He's got a little rust buildup.
Listen, I'm sure they shaved that shit off and replaced it with something machine-like.
Sure, though, with the BAFTA tank.
Yeah, he hadn't been in the BAFTA tank for a minute. Okay.
You know what? We can justify it any way we want to. There's some awkward ass styles out there.
Hey, the metal was a little cold and shrunken down from being around the cryo freezing stuff. Okay, it was a little creaky.
It was built on Mustafari, so it condenses.
Second, he knew who his opponent was. He knew he didn't have to really try. Because exactly.
I will say I do think the moment is super cool. I think it's really, really cool that Favreau and Filoni or whoever, Star Wars in general, just gave Ahmad Best like this redemption. I do think that's really, really, really cool.
That's my favorite part of the whole episode.
Don't get that twist. As much as I nicked that scene, like I think it's awesome that they did this.
Yeah, and I love the scene, and like I say, that's my most favorite part, and that's coming after you process the show. So it's like, at first I was like, oh, this is dope, and then later you're like, that's more dope than I thought it was. Like, because you obviously, we find out about, I knew nothing about the Jedi Temple Challenge.
Also, side quit. Weird though, what was that ship? Where was that ship from that ended up picking him up? Is that a Naboo?
Oh,
Naboo ship?
No.
It was.
I didn't think it was.
It was Padme Amidala's security.
Oh, so
you sure it was
100%.
I thought that because of the outfits, but I thought it was something
Or
else,
was it a certain senator? That Senate. Maybe Misa send you help?
Oh, yeah. Honestly,
so Ahmad Best.
That would be who was in charge at that point.
No.
I've seen people point it out.
Shut up.
It's true.
I will unplug that laptop, and this will be over. This is not a thing. This is not a thing.
Just accept it.
Misa
Ahmad Best saved Grogu twice in this episode. Once as Beck, once as Jar Jar.
He's still a Sith.
We're done here.
He's just saving him so he can give him to the Emperor.
Oh, God.
Podcast is over. Star Wars sucks.
Oh, God. Yeah, but I do think that
I cannot stand that theory.
I saw somebody point that out on Twitter, and I was like, "That is too hilarious."
But it would with who they saved. I don't know how much of a reach that is.
But to say, it was almost like Jar Jar saved himself.
Yeah.
In a way.
Mm-hmm. He's connected with the character beyond the prequel trilogies.
Thanks for tuning into this week's segment of How Does J-Sib Trigger KP this week? How do I get his blood boiling?
No shit.
I'll say all day, that's the number one thing. That's it.
Jar Jar.
You want me to quickly flip a switch? It's that stupid ass theory.
Just to send you a ship?
So we pan back to, obviously, because we still have a little bit left, right? So we have... they pan back from Grogu being saved. Isn't that when he gets his piece of armor?
Well, yeah. So she's like forging it, I think, in the middle, because it's like the beats of the forge or whatever, the hammer, and anvil that gives him the flashbacks, and he comes back out of it, and she gives him I guess the name for it, whatever it is, it's technically supposed to be a piece of armor that protects like the armpit area,
your oblique and everything over there.
But since he's so tiny. It's going to be used as his chess piece for now and probably pretty much forever because he's not going to get that much. Well, he'll get a little bigger, but not that much bigger.
I will say, though,
which I thought was super cool,
that security team, though, they knew Beck.
Yes.
So maybe it probably did come from him, 'cause maybe they had connections there.
Yeah.
So I think like it, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I think because Jar Jar and Organa even had worked together
Right.
at midpoint.
So
So
they,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, again, I mean, with Organa and then the Amidala connection and the Naboo security, probably very likely that he was involved, but my guess is probably Organa
Oh man,
was in charge.
I find
Yeah.
that awesome.
Yeah, because he would have to be, because he was the delegate when she left. So
When somebody pointed me that, I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's
I was like, "My god, they're right."
seriously, that is horrifying and true at the same time.
But it's also
No, I'm saying the
I think it would-
opposite. Like he wouldn't have been this bullshit fake ass thing you want to make his stupid character because he was working with the Jedi.
Oh, you're saying he's not a Sith?
Yes.
Oh no, I didn't really think that. It's just everybody says that. Darth
I
Binks.
cannot. Someone shared like a fan made image, like, oh, he played these two characters, and it was literally like a fan drawing of Binks with a fucking red lightsaber, and
Which
I
is
was
cool.
like,
Which is a cool drawing. It is freaking sweet. Have you seen that?
Maybe.
Darth Jar Jar.
I was like, I hate the internet.
Oh, dude, I went down a rabbit hole one time on that. Dude, there was a scene in, I think it was Attack of the Clones, where, I think it was.
Well,
But-
in Attack of the Clones, he is the one that sits there and gets manipulated to say to the whole Senate, like,
To elect
we
him.
should give him emergency powers.
So it must have been Attack. It must have been the first one. So
In Phantom Menace, the reason people think he's a Sith is because he does the giant flip into the lake.
well, there's that, and then
people are
also,
like, oh, he's Force sensitive.
well, also when he jumps off that bridge in town, when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are bringing him through the town, and he falls off that bridge and literally kicks like 4 dudes' asses, like 4 droids' asses, and he doesn't even try. Like he looks
Oh,
like
yeah,
goofy,
yeah, yeah.
and he's knocking people out and stuff. People were like, looked a little intentional, but I'm like, that's a reach.
That was really the
It's the drunken fist version of
That's
it.
seriously-
no,
seriously kinda how
if
they were
if that was really the intention of that crap, we would have seen it in the Clone Wars animated show. And guess what? All that show showed us was that, yep, he's just a big old dummy. And Mace Windu liked him more than he liked Anakin, which is hilarious.
It's true. Well, the Jedi dug
So
their
get
own
that
coffin.
trash theory.
Jedi dug their own graves with Jar Jar.
Probably gonna throw that down so hard. but that's
So yeah, Grogu gets his piece of armor.
Gets his chest piece, and then
the kid gets saved.
that's the ultimate honor, saving a foundling. And
Yeah,
so-
Din saves him, and the guy's like, "Thank you so much," because again, that was the guy that he did not like. Din.
Yeah, he hated him. And
He
he
hated
stood in the
him.
back with his arms crossed.
He
when they were
hated
talking.
him. He probably hated him even more since he had the Darksaber.
He's the one who challenged him
It's true,
and lost.
and he lost.
Bitch.
But then Din saves his kids, so
This is the way.
This is the way.
this is the way. And then Bo-Katan gets back, and the armor's like, "Yo, you lost a piece."
This is probably, I think, my favorite moment in the whole episode.
Yeah.
Is the question
Cool.
she asks.
Yeah, because the armor thinks that it's a vision that she's talking about.
No.
Oh, the armor itself?
Yeah, that
Oh.
when she was like, "Is it okay?" or however she worded it
She
to
said,
have like
"Would
a
it be
night,
okay
night
if I
watch or owl.
if I wore the sigil of the
Mythosaur.
Mythosaur and the sigil of the Night Owl?"
Yeah, and she, said,
And she goes, "The Mythosaur belongs to all of Mandalore, so yes, it's okay." And she's like, "Put it on there."
which is cool because the Mythosaur is Boba Fett's armor, his symbol, his crest. So,
Yeah.
so that's funny that, obviously, like, they all have their own individual clan, representation. And
I
then-
think she's opening her mind up.
I
Right.
didn't see in the
'Cause,
beginning.
like,
I
I think, because she was raised. She is a princess, queen, whatever. Like, she was raised that, like, it's still all about all people of
Yeah.
the system,
Yeah.
planet, whatever.
And also, it's also a kind of a cool representation with wearing both, that obviously you're bringing the old ways and the new ways together.
this is what we like to call character development.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mhm.
Beautiful character
Um,
development. And she's fucking awesome for it.
How do we eat if we don't take our helmets off? You go and find somewhere to be alone, and then take your helmet off and eat where you can't be seen. And
yeah, well, yeah. So then everybody leaves, and she gets to stay there. And even then, you could see she was like,
she looked around,
looked real nervous.
She was kind of worried, like is someone gonna see me and freak out?
Yeah.
In the beginning, when this all started happening, I was like, oh, she's just gonna use this to her advantage to like.
That's how I felt.
But
that's
now,
how I still feel.
And it makes sense because even back when Den went into the waters, how like she was kind of like reacting to him, how she was almost like getting emotional in a way of seeing him be like that. It definitely feels like now my heart's gonna get ripped out if she does like betray Den and everything.
It's gonna be the biggest betrayal of all time in Star Wars.
It seems like she's actually starting to buy in and believe a little bit. Which, granted, maybe she's just doing that to get her army
except
again,
Anakin. Sorry, gotta clear that up.
But
except for Anakin. Sorry.
It's betrayal in all Star Wars. Just
like I guess of New Age Star Wars, not really like the core shit. But anything that we've seen where there can be a betrayal possible, this would be huge, especially since how much everybody loves Mando. So
right.
I do, but that part with the armorer talking about how she, when she says, I saw a mythosaur, a lot of people see weird things when they're in the living waters, and she's like, no, I saw one.
She's like, no, I really saw one. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Then you're really lucky.
Yeah. The armor is kind of like, I don't know that I'm going to play with this.
I'm not touching this.
So, I meant to bring this up last week. Do you think this whole Children of the Watch group is a descendant of Maul's group?
No, they existed before.
Yeah, they left a long time ago.
They lived on the moon Concordia. Like, they got ousted in the Earth after the first Civil War.
Yeah.
So they were
they left a long time ago.
Yeah, they were
long time ago.
So even before Maul got there?
Yes.
Oh god,
okay.
yeah.
Way before.
Because it's even though it's not the same, it's just kind of bugged me that the armor has like the spikes on her helmet. I'm just like, it's not quite how they would do it, but it's still there.
Yeah, I've never seen an armor in any way, shape, or form, so this is the first time I've seen one represented.
Right.
So
I've been meaning to ask you guys that for literally since the beginning of the season.
But no, they were gone a long time, even before events of Clone Wars and stuff.
Yeah, because Clone Wars they were after Obi-Wan all the time. They're always on Obi-Wan. Death Watch was always on Obi-Wan.
The dude that was in charge of Death Watch hated Obi-Wan.
They were always around. Like something good would happen, and you're just like, where's Death Watch?
But the dude that was in charge of Death Watch wanted the old warrior ways. Like he wanted he was wielding the Darksaber. And he was like, I want to rule the planet, and we're not going to be peaceful anymore. He's like, we're going to be military driven, and that's what he was wanting. And he hated Jedi, and Obi-Wan was always the one that would show up for Mandalore because he had a connection to his baby mama, Satine.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
But pretty much.
Cared a little too much about her nephew.
Isn't it Corky?
Corky.
Corky?
Yeah.
Corky the pig? What is going on here?
I don't know. That's Dave.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's awesome.
Anyways, yeah. So he always hated Obi-Wan.
Always on his shit.
Always on his shit.
Always.
That's actually why Maul is able to manipulate them, because Maul hates Obi-Wan. And so in Clone Wars, they basically work together because they're like, well, we both want to kill Obi-Wan.
Kenobi. Always screaming. Kenobi.
Always screaming.
Why are you so angry? I have no legs. I don't have real legs. No, but that's pretty much it. Outside of, obviously, at the end, it's that looming
she's just kind of
shot of her kind of contemplating
she's
how she's going to screw over Din.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's ultimately, I think that's what's going to happen, is she's going to figure out a way to get the Darksaber from him so then she can lead all the Mandalorians.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they go 1v1 and she gets that saber from him, she's going to
It's over.
him up, dude.
It's over.
It's over with, dude.
Yeah.
Like if she can get that saber
But-
away from him.
If she tames and rides a Mandalore or a Mythosaur, wouldn't that doesn't that over precede the
Yeah, 'cause,
Darksaber?
the armorer said that's how the first brought Mandalore together, was he had the Darksaber and the Mythosaur. So like she's gonna want both.
Yeah, she wants to reunite all of Mandalore, which I think they said about 100 times a united Mandalore is the most dangerous thing in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. See, they weren't during Clone Wars because all the ones that were warriors were with Death Watch, and then like the main government of Mandalore and the planet, they were like
Pacifists.
They were pacifists and they were neutral in the galaxy. They only get into the war because naturally the Trade Federation just fucks with them, and then they're pacifists and they don't want to ask the Senate for help because then it looks like they're picking sides.
Mm.
And then the Senate's like, well, we can't just help them because they're a neutral planet. And the Senate's like, and the Jedi are like, well, we can't just go in wherever we want. And then they manipulate it in some way because whatever.
Then the Jedi and the clones go in and
'Cause
screw
they
them
do
up
the-
anyway.
Because they do the same shit gets pulled with my God, Forrest Whitaker. What is your character?
Saw Gerrera.
Saw Gerrera. It's the same thing. They were a neutral planet, so the Senate couldn't help them. So like, and I think we've talked about that before. It's the same thing. So,
They're all lost.
Yep.
Lost. And you're all lost.
I give this one this should be an 8,
Should be,
but it's not.
I give it a 7.8.
I gave it an 8.5, so.
See, and I just kind of want to do that, even though, like, yeah,
7.
there's some flaws with it, but
It's just too short.
A very, very
yeah, that was
soft.
mine too. I was like,
38 minutes, bro. Come on.
That's
well, it's
that,
not
that
even
was
that long because the credits are like
dude.
8
Literally,
minutes
it was
long.
literally like
38
25. It was
runtime.
like 25 minutes without credits,
Yeah, so runtime 38 minutes.
which is
so.
rough coming off that like hour-long one we got last week, which was such a breath of fresh air.
I know. It's like they have a breaking point when it's nothing but action. There's that breaking point of about 30 minutes that you're like, that's it. That's how we got to cut. We got to draw the line somewhere. Otherwise, we'll have an hour of hotness and have nothing for the next episode. Which
That's what I wonder if that's what it is.
yeah, 100%. It's got to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7 on this one. I can't. There's just so many weird writing blunders. I just can't forgive. Just like I wanted to be like, yeah, like I said earlier, I wanted to be able to come in and just be like, yeah, Batch, that's how you do a filler episode, because it basically was a filler episode, but we still got continuing threads built upon, and like our character arcs are still moving forward in cool ways. It's just some boneheaded writing mistakes. I'm just like, why was that the route you chose to take with this? But
It does make me very interested to see where it exactly goes from here, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have a good idea, but just when you think you have an idea,
I think
I
we just need to probably still be on the lookout that Bo-Katan's probably going to break our hearts some point in this season.
She can never break my heart. I stand for her.
put that blue on my helmet. Put it on.
Jesus.
Put it on. But I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that wraps up this week's episode.
Dude should have just captured Moff while he still had the Darksaber and just turned him over to her so she could actually try to prove herself. And it's Den's fault he took that Darksaber. He didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know, but that's your fault.
He pretty much Moff Gideon pressed the issue, though. I mean, he swung that Darksaber at him while he was walking away.
Well, see, and that's where, okay, so speaking of how either she's going to directly challenge him, which that's probably what she'll do. Because that's their creed, that's the code for the Darksaber. It's I challenge you for this right.
It's like wrestling for varsity, man.
So is
So if she does get the Darksaber from him, I'll say this is where Den fucked up because he melted the Beskar spear down. Well, now you're going to get in this fight where it's like, man, probably be pretty nice if you had that.
Yeah,
Because
no
then he can
kidding.
still fight her.
It's true.
But,
Yeah.
actually lost what I was going to say.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. It was something random and stupid. Oh, is the fight for the saber? Is it to the death or
It can be. It
is
doesn't
it kind
have
of
to be.
up to choice?
Like Maul
yield.
killed the guy, but
Yeah.
I think obviously like Moff didn't kill Bo-Katan, and then
Didn't the guy ask him to? Didn't he try to yield to Maul, and Maul just went and just killed him? I thought that's how it went. I thought he tried to yield to him. I don't know. It would be true
He
Maul
might-
fashion. It would have been
he
true Maul
might-
fashion. I yield. Nope. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I remember it as like he lost, and that guy, he was like pretty accepting that he knew it was going to be his death.
Okay.
I don't think he like begged for his life or anything in that scene. I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Yeah, because I think in the last time that
I do
Vizsla
know-
challenged Din, I think the armorer stopped it, didn't she?
Hmm.
Didn't the armorer stop it? That said that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think they ever actually.
Because they beat the hell out of each other
Yeah.
for a while, and then she's just like, "That's enough. This is
Mhm.
over." You know, like she just called it, like Julius Caesar. Give him the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
And the
actually
thing
historically
too, I mean, you can see where it's kind of going. That I think she is going to challenge him, and she'll probably steal the saber from him in the fight, and then he's going to see, as well as the rest of them, like let's be honest, it'll probably go like he'll turn it on, Ugh! And then she'll steal it from him. She's gonna like all grace. And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm ready to just beat you.
I can picture the
Like-
bungee.
However,
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
rope, you know.
Have we seen him pull out the blade since he's bathed in the living waters of Mandalore?
No.
Oh, well, no, but I don't think that's going to be immediate. I'm force sensitive enough now to where this thing isn't heavier than hell.
I'm not gonna lie.
'Cause
I'm
that's
gonna
the whole
find. I'm
point
gonna
of the
find
saber.
it really silly if he all of a sudden can wield it just because he.
Yeah, I would honestly, I will not lie, I will hate it and be kind of ticked because it's like, well, then the shit with Kanan and Sabine was pointless.
The only thing for me,
Because Mandalore was still around, and it's like, well, you could have just done that then.
I think honestly for me,
How much is
what I
Filoni and Favreau
anticipate-
really talking?
Right. So it's once you.
So that better not happen. I agree with you. That absolutely better not happen.
Well, he was training with the armor to use the Darksaber before.
Yeah, but
And-
we still have seen it this season where he can barely lift the
Well,
thing.
correct, but he wasn't there that long. I mean, we knew that he was there. He was there for a short time, and then he was exiled. You know, he said,
Mhm.
"You're not a Mandalorian anymore." So now he's back. He's redeemed himself. He has great honor in the coven, or the covert. Sorry, and now he's going to have all this time to actually train. So, I mean, to me, this could be an opportunity for him to actually learn how to
And she
use
did
it.
tell him in the Book of Boba Fett episode, I think she tells him, like, it takes an extreme amount of focus to correctly wield this thing. And he was
Exactly.
kind of like, what are you talking about? And because they're Mandalorians and they're the enemy and I can't speak on this, she probably didn't want to dive too deep into the whole, well, you got to have midichlorian count technically and blah, 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 blah. Like,
It sure
that's...
helps.
It's 100% what it really is, and they just don't want to come out and say like there's Mandalorians that are force sensitive. That's why they can wield this Darksaber.
Well, I wonder about Bo-Katan then. You know, I mean, obviously she can wield it beautifully. You know,
Right.
But I mean, there's never been any indication otherwise that she's force sensitive.
Right. Again, I think it's like as long as you're maybe just a little bit or
Haven't
something.
yet.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
There's something weird about it all.
Yeah.
It's always fun to... Have you ever watched, just randomly, it's funny just the fact that the thing is heavy because of some lore BS that they've done when, like that... Have you ever watched the YouTube video of the actual choreography sword fighting guy that does it for movies, and he like trains actors and people like how to sword fight so it looks realistic?
I've seen some of it.
And
yeah.
he craps on lightsabers because he's like, well, this is stupid that they
Yeah.
like swing it so heavy. He's like, because he's like, it's made of light. He's like, light has no weight. He's like, it wouldn't be heavy.
Yeah.
That's what I just said
And then
earlier.
and then he also I think he says the other thing is this thing is supposed to be modeled after a katana, right? Yeah, pretty sure that's like the lightest blade in the world, so you can swing it fast and dismember people.
Yeah.
And I was laughing. I was like, yeah. It's guy's kind of tearing George Lucas apart.
Well, if you see lightsabers as they're supposed to be used, then it is. I mean, you see them spinning them above their heads. And they're going, yeah, exactly. But then you get fucking, like I said, Vader. Like it's like he's swinging a sledgehammer.
Dude, he was tired. He's 45. He's half of a person.
Muscles get tired.
What's back?
He doesn't have any muscles.
Exactly. That's my point.
Or wait, I mean he does have muscles. It's not that they're just cut in half and stuff.
Ones that are ran by a machine attached to his chest with giant barbs. Just controls his breathing.
Oh, and another one goes down.
Oh boy.
Miami beat Houston, so there's no number ones left, guys.
I like that. I like that. I always like that.
Will Gonzaga finally get their title?
The way they played last night, Timmy is playing like a monster, dude.
Oh, the
Drew Timmy,
the Stetson Bennett of college basketball.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh boy.
Dude,
he's literally, it's like his 6th year of eligibility. He's been there forever.
Dude, I think he's got two or three games in the tournament with like 20 plus points. I think it's first player to do that in however long. And then, dude, that player that was it, Kansas State. Oh God, he's the number 2 man. He has 46 assists in the tournament, and in like 2 or 3 games. And they said the previous record was like 33 in the whole tournament.
Yeah,
he's got 46 now.
Yeah, bro.
You get a dime.
I'm responsible for at least 90 points of offense in the first 2 games.
No big.
Well, dude, he's that player that was at Florida and had the heart condition and collapsed, and then he had to step away from basketball for 2 years, and then came back and then got a spot at Kansas State, and now he's the number 2 man to Noel. Is the one that rolled his ankle the other night and still had like.
Is Weber still the coach at Kansas State?
I don't think so. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. Let me see. Kansas State. Jerome Tang.
So no.
I think he was longtime Baylor coach. Tang was. Like not the head coach, obviously, but involved in the Baylor program long enough to know how success works and brought it with him to Kansas State. So obviously he took over a brilliant program anyway, but
it's madness.
The madness.
Dude, it is madness.
It is.
But
all right.
I think that wraps up this week.
Yep.
Thank you guys who have tuned in. Please give us a like, subscribe if you haven't.
His DC segment was so short, I forgot. Yeah, Young Justice? No shit, Robin gets better.
I told you.
Are you going to watch this?
I'll watch it.
Okay. Yeah,
you guys are hyping it up a hell of a lot.
Well,
So
put it this way. So I finished season 1, and then I go to start season 2, and I'm like, whoa.
Who's that guy?
Robin got a lot better.
Oh, yeah. Had a glow up, I might say.
So does it do that throughout the entire show, or have you watched seasons 3 and 4?
I don't think I've watched the latest 2.
I was going to say, because the history of the show is it came out in 2010. They made the first season and the second season. Then it ended and got canceled the one time. 6 years after that came back. Then they made the next 2 seasons.
Reboot.
And then now it's
No, just
They
continuation.
they just continued it, and then they ended again.
Huh.
I will just say this, because I'm gonna guess that the second season is good because you said it gets better, and if you've only watched the second season, then I'm gonna just assume the second season is just better than the first. And then I had another buddy tell me that it's some of the best DC content that's out there.
Young Justice goes pretty hard.
So I'm gonna assume then from that the 3rd and 4th seasons are good.
I hope so.
Part of me wonders. So there's a time skip. For the better, I'm hoping. Okay. Again, I kind of just watched the first episode of season 2, and I I was honestly really thrown off by it.
Rattled?
I just did not. Yeah, I was rattled. I was like, I just did not see it coming. I was like, what the fuck? Like, because it's just like
it is pretty jarring.
It's
yeah,
like
there's
this.
There's no warning.
It's
or
not
anything.
like they show you the previously on, and then they show you the end of the season 1 finale, and then all of a sudden it's like all these different new characters.
Oh shit!
And then like, I'm just like, what's going on? And then you read the little thing that says, basically indicates a time jump. And then Dick Grayson comes out, and I'm like, oh, Jordan's cute. Yeah, that's what he meant when he gets better. Yeah. Because I noticed there's a change in a voice in the Robin, and I was like, different VAs, and then 5 minutes later, oh. Just, yeah.
All right, I'm with it.
Good.
I'm in.
It's its own universe.
Okay.
And there's iterations of, like, old DC and New 52 in it. Because Aqualad... So the Aqualad in this is really the Aqualad from New 52.
Yep.
And then... Well, again, with, like, the Robins, it's kind of the more traditional, like... Dick Grayson, Jason Todd...
Tim Drake.
Thank you. I always forget that one. Damian Wayne.
That's sad.
I know, because he's amazing or some crap. I don't know.
He should be cool, but he doesn't get enough love.
As is tradition.
But
so yes.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoy the second season more. I think you will.
Probably will. And I'll admit, I kind of like did the whole like on HBO Max. I'm like, okay, I gotta know like. It looks like, just from looking at the episodes, that it's a recurring theme that there's time skips as it goes on. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We don't know because he hasn't watched it, so I don't know. But
We shall see.
I shall see.
Yeah.
That's one of them shows that when it came back, I just completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I just hadn't got around to watch it, so you'd add that to the
Titans,
queue.
though.
Well, it gives me a show to watch on my own, because any other TV show, I always have to watch with Haley. I love you. But, yeah, I like having my own shows sometimes I can watch on my own. So that'll be one I'll watch on my own. Yeah, anything else?
She's going to watch one episode and be like, well, now I just want to watch it with you.
Yeah, she's going to come in and
It's going to be like, cool.
this ain't your show no mo.
Yeah, this is
It's
our
our
show.
show.
Yeah.
Our show.
What do you mean? Oh, never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. Anyway.
All right.
Uh-oh.
So, yes, I recommend it. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it. That's all I got.
I'll probably get on that when you guys.
So I think I interrupted you during you were closing it out, but if you want to readdress and go ahead and do that. My bad.
If you're still tuned in after trying
yeah.
to give it outro last time, thanks so much for listening to us go on our diatribes of justice. Appreciate you as always. If you could please like, subscribe, comment about how big of fools we are and what we need to do better. And yeah, you need an audio only version. Can't watch YouTube at all times. Find us on Spotify and Podbean. We're there as well on Twitter.
That's right.
Official T3P. I think that does it. See y'all next week. I'm your boy, Jay Sib.
Darth Jar Jar is not a thing. Stop trying to make it happen. I'm KP.
And it's Darth Bull.
Darth Binks for the
Gotcha.
win. See ya later.